We all have different things that we're nostalgic for, games falling into that category with things like Ocarina of Time, Battle for Bikini Bottom, and Halo. We come to worship these games with nostalgia that blinds our ability to find new things. It also forces me to listen to the same 2000s music. If I don't listen to the Black Parade at least once a month, the emos show up at my door. Before I introduce Ultimate, it's important to talk about the game that came before. Tobey Maguire 2 stars you as Tobey Maguire in the constant quest to deliver the pizza pie.
Pizza time.
You're late. I'm not paying for this.
People consider this to be the best movie license game of all time, let alone Spider-Man game. I like this game, but I can't picture beating it. A lot of the struggles this game has are present in Ultimate, but to a lesser extent. For example, combat's a little finicky in both, but is slightly improved in Ultimate. Ultimate also removes the Spidey Sense dodge mechanic in favor of simpler combat. Another big difference between the two is the upgrade system. Ultimate doesn't have one. This is usually a staple of these kind of games, but in Ultimate, I like the simplicity and how straightforward and to the point the combat is. Honestly, the game's pretty simple overall. Each story mission is easily obtained through little side missions. These consist of combat tours, time trials, saving civilians, and collecting tokens that are scattered around the city. But this isn't why you play the game. You play the game for the story missions. This game starts with a fight between Spider-Man and Venom. This is fun, but does introduce quick time events. From what I gather, this game's story centers around Spider-Man and Venom, Venom being Eddie Brock and them being friends since childhood. Then a man in a business suit gets involved and feels like a basic comic book plot. While this is a bare explanation for the story, I'm not here for story, I'm here for the nostalgia of that web swinging, and it's great. The swinging is a little different from previous games in the sense that it's slowed down, and the Y button makes Spider-Man climb up the web, and the X button makes him increase in speed. This is leagues better than Spider-Man 2's web swinging in my opinion. Boss fights are pretty basic and usually begin with a chase mission and end in a battle. I will look at Spider-Man fighting Goblin, and then Venom fighting the Beetle. A general statement for these chase portions of the game is that they're pretty much just serviceable. They aren't bad per se, but feel like padding for an already short game, and if you happen to get hooked on a building or can't find anything to web on, can end in frustrating defeat. The Goblin's fight patterns can be summed up as dodging his fireballs and then attacking him while he's recharging. Then, this transitions into a cutscene and you fight him in a building, which seems to be a theme with boss fights in this game. There's not necessarily different forms of bosses, but a change of scenery with a slight difficulty boost. It is interesting to note, while getting footage for this part, I did die once and it kinda killed my soul. For Venom, it's pretty much the same thing. The chase portion feels like filler and the boss has 2 stages, but I did enjoy the Beetle fight more than the Goblin, but in the end, that's probably just a preference thing. After this, the game does have a weird pacing problem, due to the next set of missions being the finale, and it kinda feels like it comes out of nowhere. These missions are fine in themselves, but the finale itself isn't really inferred, and if you weren't expecting this, it could be annoying. Anyways, Silver Sable is contracted to kidnap you because of this man, but you beat her up and Venom comes in to rain on your parade. Another time waster later, and you fight Venom, win, but do go unconscious. I assume it's because of all the darts she shoots you with, but I could be missing something. After this, Spider-Man is shot up on what I can only assume is the best stuff in the business, and then turns into Carnage. Instead of having multiple stages, this fight has multiple rooms in which Venom has to open the doors while Carnage recharges his health. This ends in Venom doing to Peter what he did to that child and becoming Super Venom. I guess. I'm not too sure, and I do apologize because I'm not well versed in the comic books. This edition gives Eddie control. Then it's pretty standard Spidey stuff. He saves the day and all is well. It is good to mention that I did die here, but I had already lost my soul, so I felt nothing. Ultimate Spider-Man was made by Treyarch before they were calling the duties with Call of Duty 3 and published by Activision. While I like superhero games and superheroes overall, I'm not into them as much as others. I appreciate this game more for the nostalgia than the superhero element it brings. I remember early on school mornings asking my mom to wake me up before school in the morning so I could play this game for like 10 minutes, and on one of those mornings I finally kicked Venom's ass, and then got to watch the end credits before school. I also remember being disappointed at the fact that there was no New Game Plus and all the costumes I unlocked didn't carry over. It's also funny to mention how little effort the Spider-Man voice actor put in sometimes. I mean, listen to this.
Leave my family alone.
So if you're looking for a Spider-Man game to play in 2021, there's a lot of different options. Spider-Man 1, 2, Shattered Dimensions. I don't know, there's too many to pick from. Pick Spider-Man on PS4. It fixes a lot of the issues these games had due to rushed development.